Capital Community Television, in cooperation with the United States Australian Football League, presents the 2016 USAFL Regional Tournament from Salem, Oregon. Coming up next, the match between the Los Angeles Dragons and the Golden Gate Roos in an all-California clash. Hello again, everyone. I'm Brian Barish alongside Anthony Lally as we continue our coverage of the Western Regional Tournament, this Division I match between the LA Dragons, who are the fifth best team in the league and winners of their first game today against the Golden Gate Roos. This is the first time we're seeing the Roos, but let's take a look really quickly at the Dragons because they had a very, very good game here in their first game earlier today.
You know, they were great. I actually talked to a few of the players after the game. They were a little disappointed with how they finished. Denver really came over the top of them. Golden Gate Roos on the other field started off and dominated the OC team. So Golden Gate ranked 6th coming into this week too. So, you know, I'm expecting another real tight tussle here, just like we saw in Game 1 with LA versus Denver.
You mentioned the Roos in their first game. They defeated Orange County, the Bombers, 49-7 in that first one. There are a number of good players on this Golden Gate Roos side, including a couple of national team players. You have Manley Johnson, Kyle Johnson, known as Manley, number 9. He's been around the national team for some time, and he's one of their best players. Brian Dragas, who up in the forward line, really is a take charge type of forward, and he's a big, tall target.
And Jake Ryan too. We're looking for. He's a US eligible player. Don't believe he's available to be seen by Tom's coaching group tomorrow, but he'll be going to one of those camps Tom mentioned earlier in August over in the East Coast.
So, in case you haven't caught any of our other broadcasts, this game of Australian rule football is played over a field that is in a circular shape. It is about 160 yards long by 110 yards wide. There are 2 sets of goal posts on either side, 2 big ones and 2 little ones. They are 6.4 meters apart, or about 7 yards. Kick it between the 2 big sticks, it's a goal. It's worth 6 points. If you kick it between one of the big ones and one of the little ones, it's 1 point. Whoever has the most points at the end of 2 20-minute halves wins the game. Anthony, tell us about ball movement.
Yeah, so obviously the objective is to get the ball through the goal, and even if you miss, you get a point sometimes. But to get the ball from one end to the other, combination of running, kicking, getting rid of the ball, passing it on to a teammate. You can do that either by kicking, and if you take a fair catch, it'd be called a mark, which is essentially a free kick. Some players will set themselves, other players will play on if there's a tactical advantage to do so. A handball needs to be punched out of the hand, a little bit like volleyball, I suppose. Would be a good correlation. So what we want to do is see a lot of touches on the ball. We call these disposals in football. So we want to see guys, kicking, handballing, working interplay with some of their teammates. So we want to see a bit of 1-2. We want to see handballs off, and so we're really looking for good ball movement. When we saw LA earlier in the game, they're really a ring of fire, Dragons ring of fire. So they're really trying to run rings around players. A lot of short interplay. The Roos are a bit of a taller team, bit of a longer kicking team, so we might see them try and play in the air a little bit more.
Yeah, this will be, I think, a fantastic game between the Roos. Now, the makeup is a little bit different. Actually, both of these teams have metro or local competitions that they do for the first part of the season. They're all local. Golden Gate has one of the largest and oldest in the USAFL.
And here we go.
We are underway. The Roos are in the blue and orange, going from left to right. The Dragons are in the silver and orange with the white pants, and very quickly moving forward is Golden Gate up forward.
Oh, big Zach Taylor.
He took it.
Big Zach Taylor, number 60, smoked that distance, bullied himself in front of the Dragons there, picked the mark. So we're going to get the first opportunity here with the Roos. Zach taking his time, pulling those socks up.
I'll tell you what, that's one. We've seen some really good marks today so far, Anthony. That was almost Nick Rewalt-like. And if you're not sure who he is, go look him up. So here's the kick. It's up on the way, but he has sprayed it to the right, and it is through for 1 point. So that is a behind, and it's 1-0. You see the score in the lower left-hand corner. G is the number of goals scored. B is the number of behinds scored. Multiply the first number by 6, add the second number, and you get the third number, which is the score.
Yeah, and in terms of, you talked about the quality of mark. For the ground, he had to cover, and the traffic had to get through. That was very, very well done.
That was pretty good. So now, as a result, LA, as we take a look at the mark again, I mean, this is pretty fearless.
You can't even see him in the picture.
And there he is, all of a sudden.
Boom.
Oof. And the contact there by Andre Jansen, the defender. So meanwhile, as we return to live footy, Golden Gate is pushing forward again, but stepped up in the mark taken defensively. And now the Dragons will have a chance to shake the Etch-a-Sketch and draw up something new. Long kick up forward. Nice mark over the top there. And that is by George Smith, I believe, number 30. There are 2 number 30s, and I know that's not Brian Dragus. So up on that far side, it looks like
up to Dragus now.
Yeah, he is. And he handballs around. Over to get it again is Smith. And they'll handball around. So now they'll bang it out to the near side all alone, and taking the mark there is Chris Coleman. Coleman will play on in a hurry. Comes out to the near side right in front of us, just off the fingertips of 57, which was unlisted. And then McGovern for Los Angeles. Oh, he gets through the gauntlet. Long handball across, looking for the 52 and O'Reilly, who was very active in that first game. He gives the ball to Kenna. Kenna uses his man as a shield, has his kick smothered. Right into the middle of the field, handballs it over to Baggett, who runs through. Baggett throws it onto the left, deep inside, but a defensive mark, nicely taken. Good idea, came off into nothing at the end, and the Roos will have a chance to clear it out.
Yeah, Lesko makes sure of it across field.
Up the side now as they switch things around. That's the other field. That's not us. Keep playing. Mark it straight in the middle of the ground for Daniel Levy. Levy shakes away, a little don't argue, stiff arm if you don't mind. Cuts to the inside, throws it onto his left foot, up the side. Marked, yes.
Oh, great take. Can't catch a number there.
They play that one on, kicking in deep, and it's marked again.
So tight angle, he might look for just the center of the goal square here.
And I believe that is, I think that's Ryan Clark. I saw number 6, but I'm not sure. So they'll set up in the goal square here in case it's short. The kick is on the way, and it is good off the boot. Goal to the Golden Gate Roos, and they extend their lead. Golden Gate goes to 1 goal, 1 behind, 7 points. LA yet to score.
They've certainly had the run of possession early in the game, and it's showing. They're really playing with confidence, good aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And LA look a little flat.
A little bit. As you see the kick and the conversion there. So Golden Gate, and they had a relatively easy time over Orange County. We're going to see them a little bit later on as they play Los Angeles. But Golden Gate is a team, as we mentioned, a little bit of an enigma because they play separately. They play that 9-week Metro season in the lead-up, and then they come together. So it's almost like an all-star team.
Yes. A little bit different from some of the other Metro leagues, which sprinkle in Metro games around USAFL games. So they do have, it's almost a preseason lead-in or a postseason.
Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy there, but the umpire does what you should do, and that is just throw the ball up, and the people who are actually here to play will concentrate on the ball. Martin Del Campo up the right side. It's loose, picked up by Los Angeles. It throws it. Oh, nice little dribbler into the middle, but going back to get it there is number 8 for Golden Gate, unlisted. And the kick is up towards the middle. It's knocked down cleanly. Johnson was there, but then banged out by Richard Gates up on that far side. So here is LA trying to hit back in transition.
Is that Baggett?
Yep.
Great mark.
It was a good one. Straight into the middle looking for Dollar, who handballs it out. Long kick in. 1-on-1 contest. Now it's a 3-on-1 contest as Golden Gate close. LA still emerges with the ball. They handball it on. A little shake, a little shimmy. Kicks that one in and marked. A great job of taking the grab by Harry Dixon.
He looks short to the left.
And he finds his man there, a connection in O'Reilly. And that's usually, you will see guys go back and have a shot, but he did a good job of look up and have the awareness to find O'Reilly. So LA looking for their first score of the game. A goal would be extremely helpful. And that is extremely helpful. Goal to the Dragons, and they're back to within a point. Golden Gate 1-1-7, LA 1-6.
So maybe me saying they looked a little flat subconsciously kicked him into gear, because that last 90 seconds or so, they were able to move that around very, very well.
And you see the kick again from O'Reilly.
Straight down the guts.
Yep. Looked like it had drifted right off the boot from up here, but did squeeze inside. So back to a 1-point game. This is, I think this will be the 5th game you and I have done so far, Anthony. And every game's been close. Every game that we've done up here has been a close game, which is good.
Well, I think, having Tom Ellis here earlier,
Yeah.
the standard is certainly improving and you're getting more consistent performance out of teams. And so that's manifesting itself in some more competitive matchups for sure.
I see Tommy standing over there watching that other game. Also, he's, as we mentioned, he's the Denver head coach, so he is an interested party as reinforcements have arrived from the league.
Baggett plays on quickly.
Goes out to the near side. Running on and falling down.
Stumbles O'Reilly on the left flank.
Yep, and
turnover
now
opportunity.
Here they come, and it's a nice mark offensively. They handball it into the middle, looking for a 1-1-2 combination. They handball it back over to Mark Lesko. Lesko kicks it inside. It's marked.
Under a lot of pressure there. Held himself well. Nice core strength. Elbows in tight. Pulled that ball right in.
By the number 38.
Yes.
So he's going to go back and have a crack and try and extend the Roos lead, which right now is at 1 point. So the mark is from where the ball was caught, and you see the defender there with his hands in the air. He cannot go any further forward. That is sprayed off to the right. It is through for a point. So Golden Gate goes to 1-2-8. LA still on 1 straight 6. It's back to a 2-point game. Brian Barish alongside Anthony Lally. Glad that you're with us as well here from the Capital FC soccer complex here in beautiful Salem, Oregon. Doesn't get much more beautiful than Oregon in the middle of summer, I'll tell you what.
It's a great place to be during summertime.
Yeah, especially when there's footy on.
Absolutely.
And speaking of footy on, there's footy on up on that far side. A little bit of a tussle, a little bit of push and shove, and I mean these are two teams that know each other. Up a little bit of a grapple as the player that was getting up there may have caught Gary Green, the LA guy, just standing up. These two teams are rivals too. The Dragons, now the Roos have been around since 1997. They are 2-time Division I national champions, but you have to go all the way back to 98 and 99 when they did that. When they were the Santa Cruz Roos. Now I know why they changed to Golden Gate.
Santa Cruz Roos is a great name.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else comes from Santa Cruz? The banana slugs.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of banana slugs, there's a kick, and that's a mark right in front. And again, a little push and shove.
Plenty of emotion, plenty of heat, just some handbags. I think Zach Taylor's taken that a little bit to heart. I think he got a bit of a rub down after he took that ball.
And while that was happening, I don't know if they're going to pay the goal because the umpire is trying to sort everything out and tell them, look, boys, we're here to play footy, not push. Now, those of you who are familiar with Aussie rules, there is no, in regular AFL and regular Aussie rules, there is no disciplinary system, no cards. Here in the USAFL, there is a card system similar to soccer. A yellow card means the player himself is sent off for 15 minutes as the kick is up on the way. And no mistake made there by Zach Taylor.
Make sure of it.
2-2-14 Golden Gate, 1 straight 6 for Los Angeles. The yellow card is a 15-minute sending off for the player, but the team remains at full strength. A red card is the player is sent off for the game, and the team has to play down for a man as we take a look at the mark.
That's a little bit like rugby.
Yeah, a little bit like rugby in a sense.
But like football.
But like football, yeah. I mean, in a sense of the...
And here we go, just showing a replay here. Here's the melee ensuing off the mark. Very well taken. And I think there was just a little bit of carry-on the ground here that Zach Taylor didn't take too kindly to. So anyway, it's moved on. The goal's played, and here we are again, the bounce.
Back to live action, center of the ground now, and here comes Golden Gate again trying to work it forward. They do in short. Over the top, over Baggett came the Golden Gate player. Baggett stayed with it and was rewarded with the ball, and I think that's got to be high tackle, and it is. Or is it? No, they're going to play on.
So the Roos are definitely doing a better job closing the time and space on the Dragons early. And I think Denver probably took a while to get into that game. So maybe that's just has them put off a little bit.
Marked, and this is Brian Dragus. Tall drink of water, very strong. very key player in the USAFL and the U.S. Revolution's win last year in the 49th Parallel Cup. The kick is going to come from 50, and I'll tell you the distance for him won't be an issue. Dragis's kick is on the way. The goal umpire does not move. Another goal to the Roos, and they are running away early.
Mate, split the sticks, either needle. That was dead straight.
Dead center perfect. 3 goals, 2 behinds, 20 points Golden Gate, 1 straight 6 for Los Angeles, as we are around the halfway point of this first half.
Here we go. Great camera angle. Great job by the crew. Straight down the middle.
And that's textbook. If you want to know, if you're interested in this game and you want to know how, because the kicking is a little bit different than it is in other, especially American football and in rugby. The ball is on its point when you kick it.
So yeah, drop punt,
yeah.
It's called. So you really want to kick the points of the ball, and by kicking the point of the ball, it should hold a truer line than what we see in a torpedo kick.
One thing we're seeing from in the NFL and really up through college is that teams are looking for players, especially from Australia, who kick like that instead of more of the torpedo is what you guys, or the torpy is what you guys would call it, which is more underbelly
more of a spiral
across.
kick. Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the ball is going out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in as it comes spinning back in the play. Picked up and handled back, and then kicked up forward. And marked by Baggett, who's been everywhere and has been very good. Yeah, he's been very good in the half back line. So left-footed kick from Baggett.
Baggett looks like he'd be more at home working under the hood of a 1967 Dodge Power Wagon, but he's out there athletically performing with the best of them.
I'll tell you what, he's moving around like a 1962 Dodge Power Wagon. Ball goes out of bounds, boundary throw. And if the ball goes out of bounds, we have some volunteer boundary umpires. In the AFL, they have dedicated officials. Here we have volunteers, and a shout out to them. All the teams required, of course, to send out volunteers to do this. Although it really helps with the manpower to do the goal umpire and the boundary umpire. Our regular umpires are from the clubs, but we have the USAFL association, umpire association, who are helping us out with that. Long kick up that far side, punched away by Golden Gate. It goes to the ground. Dollar picks it up. Had some help into Shepard, but the ball is turned over. And Golden Gate will come back as they look into the middle of the ground. It'll one-hop in on Coleman. Coleman with a long kick up that right side. Going after it and getting to it is Clark as he handballs it around to 57. 57 kicks that one up on that far side. It's going to still roll up on that far side, but it's found the boundary line and gone out of bounds. 20-6 the score. Golden Gate the lead. Both teams won their first game earlier. LA will play Orange County, and Golden Gate will play Denver in the final game a little bit later on. We'll actually have LA Orange County for you. That ball goes out of bounds again. So this is Division I. The Dragons come in number 5. Golden Gate are number 6 overall in the USAFL.
So Brian Cummins, 34, reinforcement there.
Yep.
Just gets out of reach.
Dragus stripped as soon as he touched the ball. And what's the call here? They're going to say no prior opportunity, and we're going to have a ball up. So that's the situation. There are 3 teams. Or is it? Or is it going to be a free kick? No, it is going to be a free kick. I'm sorry.
And Zach Taylor's got the pill again, so let's see how he goes. He looks a little bit like Roger Federer there with the headband.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if he's quite as graceful.
No, and it is a behind, so that makes it 3-3-21. I was going to say he probably, I tend to think Federer is more of a clay court player.
Right.
And unfortunately, I don't think you can play footy on red Play-Doh. They look out to the far side. And now it's...
Here we go. Got boundary umpires ready to...
Now it's going to be thrown in. Yeah, lost sight of it for a moment. As Baggett, again, he's in on the ball. Right as Golden Gate had it. A whistle. And a little bit more shoving.
A little bit of argy-bargy. I'll tell you what, it's been a common theme in this game.
I just like saying adgy-badgy.
Absolutely.
There you go. Ball's up in the air, knocked down. Golden Gate still has it. It squirts out to the far side. Smith who's the other number 30, will watch the ball go over and out. So again, 21-6 the score. Golden Gate the lead. Now, as we mentioned, it is a round-robin competition here in this Division I. 4 teams. The team with the best record wins. It comes down to head-to-head if there's a tie. As that one skips off the ground. Oh, blowing him out of the water there was Lesko. Lesko stays with it, kicks it in towards the goals. It goes to ground, squirts out. Looked like the Golden Gate player got tackled without the ball, and then it ping-pongs around and goes out of bounds. There was, I think, a soft appeal for being out on the full, but it wasn't. It'll be a boundary throw-in. That would have been big if it was out on the full.
I feel like we've been down at this boundary throw-in for the 3rd or 4th time. So, you know, Golden Gate's definitely keeping the play down here and keeping it tight.
And they'll be okay with that, especially with this lead. As 38 has it, he kicks towards the sticks and kicks a goal. And then the goalpost goes over in the end. So goal to the Roos. They go to 4-3-27, and they have their hands on the throat of this game. The Dragons won straight 6. It's 21 points as they reset the goalpost afterwards.
Yeah, we might have just a short break here while they're fixing the goalposts.
No, they've actually fixed it pretty quickly, I think.
There you go. All right, there's a nice strike through the goal, slow-mo replay.
And then
more out of, I think that
Robbie Deskin just says, well, crud, and knocks over the goalpost.
I think so.
Those goalposts, by the way, now in Australia they have the aluminum goalposts, and of course this is not a regular Australian football field. Those are metal poles with PVC pipe over top of it. It's almost like building a ball. Nice one-handed mark.
Well done.
We're seeing some good marks here.
Yes. I mean, I think it's certainly helping. We've got a nice temperate weather pattern today.
Yeah.
Not too much sweat out there other than on the brow.
Yeah, so one thing that we were talking about in Indianapolis for the Central Regionals is the fact that because it was so hot, it was really difficult for teams to play 3 games in one day. I think it's a little bit better on a day like this, obviously it would seem to be. This ball comes spinning back into play. Again, Golden Gate trying to push forward. Nice kick. Was it there? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. That's 20 from Golden Gate.
Daniel Levy. Well, that's up there with goal of the day.
Oh, snap back over the right shoulder. I love seeing those kicks.
How about Golden Gate now? 5 goals, 3-33. They extend the lead to 27 points.
33-6.
And it comes on the stroke of halftime, but here it is, off balance across the body, dead center perfect. So that's halftime. Golden Gate up 5-3-33 to LA, 1 straight 6. We saw LA respond earlier to the quick Golden Gate start, but after that,
I tell you what, Brian, that was a really good half of footy. I really enjoyed it. And you know, LA do look a little flat, but the Roos have just muscled up. They've cut down the time and space. Really helps it, you know, at full forward there. I mean, Zach Taylor has just been owning the goal square, but he's had great service from his team.
Yep, that's it. And that's the problem. That's the thing, is that they're winning the balls through the middle and getting them to that. And of course, the fact that they're taking almost circus-like catches is very helpful.
Oh, that last one-hander was by George Smythe was just fantastic.
Halftime here at the football, the Golden Gate Roos 33, the Los Angeles Dragons 6. Hey, if you want to check out what this sport of Aussie Rules football is all about here in the USAFL, stick around for the next couple of minutes and we'll catch you on the flippity flip. You're watching the 2016 Western Regional Tournament here on CCTV.
Support for tonight's program was provided by MAPS Credit Union, premier sponsor of Salem-Keizer Schools. Visit one of our convenient locations in the Willamette Valley or our website, mapscu.com. And by Les Schwab Tire Centers, doing the right thing since 1952. Experience the Les Schwab difference at your neighborhood Les Schwab Tire Center or visit us on the web at leschwab.com.
Great competition and a feeder competition there to the AFL.
You're the truest form of an athlete playing footy. You got to cover long distances, got to be able to have endurance, be quick, athletic, sprint, be strong, and have skill at the same time. And I think that if you fancy yourself an athlete, This is a sport.
Everyone plays offense and defense, and everyone is a skilled player. You need to have reasonable endurance, reasonable speed, reasonable strength. There's no restrictions on how tall you need to be. Some guys can be, high 6 feet. Some people are in their 5'5", so it doesn't discriminate against anyone. Anyone can play. The thing that Americans would find particularly exciting about it is the fact that it's so fast-paced. The game's continuous. It doesn't stop. The game just continues to keep rolling.
Future of the game, I think that we need to get into more colleges. You look at a team like Minnesota and what they're able to do with college scholarships. Kids going over to Australia for a semester and then come back and they're helping with Minnesota's team. I think that's where our real development's going to come in, and I think we need to really foster the college game.
It's a sport that's really growing, not only in Australia but all around the world. And there's been a few signings of young American college players in the last few years that have made the transition to our sport and done really well.
So a wide range of ages and fitness levels, and it's really a sport for anybody.
So I looked up Aussie Rules on YouTube and I thought it was really cool, and that's how I found out about it.
It brings together certain elements from all different sports. Sometimes you might not be the top 1% of a particular sport, but you can use what you know about that sport, and it all is applied very well in Aussie Rules football.
Just check out if there's a club in your local area, and from my own experience, both Aussies and Americans in the club are really welcoming, and they took good care of me, so they'll definitely look out for you, and it's a good time.
Back for the second half of this game, the USAFL Western Regional Tournament. The Golden Gate Roos leading the LA Dragons 33-6 rather. And I'll tell you what, that was a pretty highlight reel first half of the Golden Gate Roos, taking some really nice marks and converting on them, and that's what stoked them out to this early lead. As we take a look at the early goal that they scored, Los Angeles did actually come back through O'Reilly.
Well, and at that stage, it was a one-point game.
Yeah, right? It was a one-point game, and it looked like the Dragons were going to come back, but Brian Dragas slots the goal from here, and from there, it's been all Roos. And I'll say one of the things that we've really noticed up here in the booth and also out in the truck is that LA looks like they just have a fear of the ball, like they're just nailed into the grass. But Golden Gate playing very, very well here, as you can see, and they have that 27-point lead. They'll be kicking left of screen here in the second half.
But I certainly expect LA to have had a regroup at halftime.
Yeah.
And, probably a bit of fresh legs, a couple of replacements, and let's see how we go. If the Roos could do 33 points in a half, then the Dragons are capable of doing it too. So here we go.
It's funny, as we've mentioned guys like Justin Hall and all that in the first game against Denver, and they've been quiet because they haven't had any chances here. They haven't been given any chances as we're underway. LA working it forward. Smythe couldn't get to it. He does on the second bite of the cherry. Ball's loose on the ground. It's tied up. It still comes out. That almost looked like a rugby scrum where the ball was hooked out. Handballed straight across and then picked up. And here's the kick. It's in short. All over kicked it. Just over the top. Hall throws a nice shepherd.
Oh.
They handball it back. Kenna kicks across the body, and then it's tipped over for a behind. First score in a long, long time for LA, but that's a good sign for them. That takes them on the 1-1-7. They trail by 26. That's an encouraging start, even though they missed the kick, and a good shepherd by Hall to set up the goal.
So just getting reset here, took it off the mark. And a little bit of a breather there too, I think the Dragons will appreciate.
Yeah. As I said, they were talking at the Central Regionals about spreading these tournaments out over 2 days, having the teams come in Sunday, play these 2 games on Sunday, and then playing the third game, Saturday, and then playing the third game Sunday morning, which is what they do at Nationals. The trick is, of course, is logistics and, making sure that these teams, especially because the ones that are flying, as they kick out to the near side, nice mark going up to get it was Tim Lindfelt, one of their Revolution players for Golden Gate. Oh, good intercept mark.
Gary Green.
By Gary Green, who caught a little, that's Hall. That's again. 47, sorry. Who caught a little bit of a head clash for his troubles, almost taking the mark through the hands. And then back the other way comes David Franco. Franco with a spinner. Almost taken again by Dragus, who was a high flyer. Baggett is there for Los Angeles. He comes out to the near side. It'll two-hop on, and here comes L.A. back the other direction. He takes a bounce. He takes a second one, does Kenna. Kenna sends that one through the hands of Lesko, and then Golden Gate has it. Long handball up over the top. They'll kick that one into the center of the field over the head of Dragus, who I think was his intended target, but Baggett is there for the defensive mark. So here's Baggett, who throws it on to the left, straight out into the middle, almost marked. Ball goes to ground, handballed back, and now here comes Golden Gate the other direction. Long kick is smothered, and almost just taken off the boot.
Whoa.
Long kick, and all alone is Paul Lokim.
So he'll have a go from here.
Yeah,
And,
he's not afraid to do so.
definitely not. And I feel like the pressure on the contest, just the intensity's returned a little bit for the Dragons.
Yep. Well, they've got a long way back.
They do.
A straight kick here will help the journey. It starts right, it goes left,
Doesn't quite come around.
but doesn't come around, and that's another behind. So that takes them on to 1 goal, 2 behinds, 8 points. Golden Gate 5-3-33, the 25-point game. Just underway, second half. Brian Barish alongside Anthony Lally. Glad to have you along with us wherever you may be watching us, across the country, around the world, back in Australia. Thank you so much for watching this great game of Australian rules football, and we hope you are enjoying it. And if you are liking what you are seeing and you want to play, you want to watch, you want to see if there's a team near you, check out our website, USAFL.com. Follow us on Twitter at USAFL1997, and follow us on Facebook at Facebook.com/USAFL. Up that far side as the game continues. LA will have it back. Martin Del Campo finds Lokim. Lokim will kick that one deep. Still up on that far side, stays in play. One-on-one contest. He's thrown down. And then Smythe will center the ball, and he does so nicely. And here they come out of the back, Will Lesko. Lesko with a long kick. And he finds Levy, who had that nice goal at the end of the first half. There's Coleman.
That's a high one.
High one, looking for Dragus, who just got a good second effort, but wasn't rewarded with the ball. They come out to the near side for Kenna. Kenna takes the mark. He's going to need a lead. Not really seeing a whole lot. Now he's got this one here in the personage of O'Reilly. And he's going to overkick O'Reilly, overkick everyone, 2 Golden Gate players, and it's Lindfelt who takes the mark comfortably for the Roos. Timmy Lindfelt getting a little bit more engaged as he finds George Smythe, or Smith if you prefer. Kicks the ball.
Well, he prefers blue.
That's true. You know that joke about a man with a wooden leg named Smith? What's the name of his other leg? Mark taken by Del Campo.
I thought it was a boy named Sue.
Yeah. You were channeling Johnny Cash. I was channeling Dick Van Dyke. Mark taken in the middle by Cummins. And now they'll work it forward only for a moment. They're going to play on. Nice stiff arm by Franco. But he turns the ball over quickly. Still 33-8 the score. Again, these two teams won their first game earlier today. LA beat Denver in a close one by 1 point. Golden Gate blew out Orange County. Out to the near side, almost take the mark, and he's paid the mark, and they'll play it on. Great mark by O'Reilly, who found D'Agostino. And a nice mark in nicely again by Trevor Osterholm. So Osterholm will go back. He's got Green if he wants him on the right side. Instead, we'll go inside 50. Nice spoil there as he was looking for Hall, who still gets his foot to the ball towards the middle. It's knocked down, but there's 3 Golden Gate players there to prevent any sort of garbage cleanup. Could have been holding the ball, it wasn't. They play on. They'll wheel around. The kick is on the way by Lokim, but it's off to the side.
There's some cramping bodies out there.
Yep. Tell you what, 3 very good chances by Los Angeles, but I'll tell you what, if they convert those, then we're looking at a much closer game. So behind to Los Angeles, it's a 4-goal game now. 5-3-33 Golden Gate, 1-3-9 to Los Angeles, and now we have a little bit of delay as one of the Golden Gate players is down. And he's just getting up after cramping. Yeah, this is about the point where...
in tournament play, it does become a factor, Brian.
It does, yeah. And again, this is different because they are playing, as Lindfelt was the player that was down. You are playing 3 games on one day as opposed to Nationals where it's 3 games over 2 days. Nice mark. Having to go back behind it was Jake Olner. Here's Olner. Long kick up the side, one-on-one contest, almost taking the mark and then going straight to ground. Picking it up again is Levy. Levy looking for Lindfelt. It's still kept in nicely by the Dragons. That's an ineffective handball. They work it back to Smythe, who puts the ball down and kicked that one up on that far side. Marked nicely again by Dragus.
30-30. Smythe to Dragus. Smythe carrying up in the center too.
Going up short, and it's marked.
Oh. Who is that big bloke again?
It is number 60.
There you go.
It is Zach
Taylor.
So
he's been a little quiet because the Dragons have been on a run. But we're seeing him back in the game. I've really liked Bluey Smythe in the midfield. He's really started to push the ball forward, find some space with the fatigue.
Taylor's kick.
And he split him.
Is good.
That's another goal.
Back to a 5-point game as Taylor has notched goal number 2. A 5-goal game, rather, as Taylor has notched goal number 2. 6-3-39 Golden Gate. 1-3-9 Los Angeles. And as you can see, a nice goal there from the angle. We are, as we continue here in the second half of this one, Brian Barish alongside Anthony Lally. We're watching some really good footy here today, man.
Mate, it's been great, and here we go again.
Yep.
For the ball up. Keep it coming.
Yep, here we go. Knocked forward by Lindfelt, who's in on the ruck. And now LA will try and get it through, but not terribly far as the ball goes ping-ponged off the middle. That one is played forward by Los Angeles. And it will sit up in the air. Almost taking it there was 75, which is Will Crandall.
Tries to get that away. Scooped out of nowhere.
Nice
55, 10 Lindfelt.
Lindfelt, yep. Goes over, and there's only gray jerseys there, but one of his teammates has it. They handball it back to Smythe. Smythe will look up on the far side, and it's all marked. Again, 30-30 as he finds Dragus. Cutting across in the middle of the field and taking the mark is Coleman. And Coleman.
So we're seeing these 3 or 4 players really take some ownership now from the Roos, and really trying to control the game. Another mark in the center field there.
By number 8, who is unlisted for us.
I think it's Jake Ryan.
Yeah, it is Jake Ryan, number 8. Yeah, let's fill that one in. So here's Ryan from dead in front.
He probably has the distance on this too. It's 40-odd meters out.
Yep.
We'll see how he goes. Dead straight, not much breeze. He's just got to keep his head down.
So here is Ryan. Kick is on the way. Easy peasy. Another goal to Golden Gate. They have now kicked the last 6 goals after it was a 1-point game early in the first half. 7-3-45 Golden Gate. That's been the difference. It's a 6-goal lead, 1-3.
So we're about halfway through the second, 10 minutes to go. I hope the Dragons haven't lost the fire.
No, I hope they haven't either. They're
going up in a puff of smoke.
Yeah, they are. They're not flying at all. As here's the goal again from Ryan. Yeah, don't get any straighter than that. They're like, well, I don't want to give any Game of Thrones spoilers, but I'll talk about something about Daenerys' dragons. I got to work at least one Game of Thrones reference into a call. I've been very good at not doing it, and a nice mark taken by 38, again unlisted for us. For the Roos. We have a number of players who we don't have on the roster here, so we apologize as they find Smith. Smith will go up on that far side. And the mark is taken, juggled and taken by Levy. They'll handball it on. And now they'll kick that one up into the middle, and there he is again, taken. Taylor.
Zach Taylor. He might be one that Tom Ellis is having a look at. He's a US eligible player. And as a full forward, he's been right in the thick of it. Certainly hard to bump out of the way if he's got a leading line on a mark, that's for sure.
He's also one of our lesser-known presidents.
Yeah.
So here is Zach Taylor. And he makes no mistake. 7th consecutive goal for Golden Gate. And they are just pouring it on as they go to 8-3-51. 1-3-9 Los Angeles.
So heading into this game, Golden Gate were the lowest ranked, although all top 10, but lowest ranked of the group. So I think the panel is going to take some notice of this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, it depends on how they see Orange County, and I think that's the big thing. Of course, they're number 3. They entered as number 2, seeing as though they were the defending Division I runners-up, having lost last year to Austin. The way they're going this year, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's a long way from here. And here comes Golden Gate again, and there it is. They are queuing up. They are.
You know, even just the little things there were really good on the lead-up, and it was great to see Ryan Clark even just get in the air. He wasn't under a lot of pressure, but he just held his balance, got up in the air, got those arms up, took a nice clean mark.
Push in the back, and it's going to be a free kick again. So they're going to add to their score here, and it's going to be Dragus. And if Dragus is kicking the ball, it's probably going to be a goal. LA, I think, really has sort of, I'm not going to say they've given up, but they are just really lacking at this point. After that, they really seem disheartened. They still have one more game left as Dragus lines up. It starts right and it stays right.
So I was talking to Richard Gates from the Golden Gate Roos, and he's at the back there.
Yeah.
How did we go? Behind?
It is behind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So and he's at the back there, and he said even in the first game, his midfield and front line, forward line just made his job easy. And he really hasn't had a lot of defensive work to do yet today.
No, and that might change against Denver. You don't know, but out to the far side they go. And the mark is almost taken, although was it paid? No, play on. And here comes
quickly.
LA the other way. Here's Kenna. Kenna will run into the middle of the ground, puts that one onto his right foot. He goes deep, bounces over the man. A little shimmy action, and down he goes. Being taken down was Jansen as he was wrapped up for Christmas. So free kick here as it was holding the ball, and they work it to Smith, who's just going to take a leisurely jog in the park here in Salem, Oregon. It's a good weather for it as he bounces the ball. He looked like he was on a training run, and he hits a man out on the far side. Handballed into the middle. I mean, this is
the timing, the spacing, these guys are very well drilled.
They're like gray witches' hats right now are the Dragons. Gray and teal traffic cones at this point as they kick that one up deep. Nice mark. Guess who? Brian Dragus. He climbed the step ladder and brought it down.
He plays on quickly.
He does. And it's out to the far side. Kept in. That's going to be steered towards the goal. Did it at least find the point post?
No, it'll be a boundary throw by the looks of things.
If not out on the full. I think it has to be out on the full.
Yes.
So here's a free kick for LA. And again, you know, they have one game left, and it's against Orange County. It's a team they know they can beat. So they have to at least keep their heads up here. Out on that far side. Marked, yes. So here is 63, who is Lesko. Goes in short. Hand in, not claimed cleanly. Handball up over the top by 21. They go in front, they dribble it on, and then it ricochets off of 2 Dragons. It's still loose in the goal square, and they just get it away to the Dragons. Out to the near side. They'll put the ball to the ground. Now kick it out to the near side. Nice mark is stepping up to take it was Jansen, who's gotten a lot of touches, and here they come streaming forward. Oh, Green had it. He was caught high. No, play on, says the umpire, as they give it to Cummins, who finds a man. He goes in deep. Long kick out of the reach of Crandall. To the ground it goes. Golden Gate will be able to try and clear it out. A backwards handball was pressured there. They soccered it onto themselves. Well, Lokem is pushed in the back, and that's going to get called free kick to Paul Lokem and the Dragons. That was always going to be called. So here is Lokem trying to salvage a little bit of pride and a little bit of percentage. So here he is on the way. It looks good from here. And it is dead center perfect for Paul Lokem. And that will equilibrate things on the scoreboard a little bit, but not a whole heck of a lot. As that takes on LA to 2-3-15. Golden Gate 8-4-52. I think that's the first sign of life we've seen from the Dragons in some time, Anthony.
Absolutely. So there is some life.
The Dragon is stirring, but he might go back to sleep and try to cut down some I was going to say flightless birds, but bombers are not flightless birds. In any event, ball back in the middle, and they handball it on, and hey, look at this. They have another push forward. That one is there, but there are two defenders back for Golden Gate. Playing it on quickly is Gates. And here they up on that far side. Up over the top. 2-on-2 contest. And over there was Lesko, and the ball goes out of bounds again. 52-15 the score. Golden Gate the lead. We're in the dying stages of this second half.
Definitely winding down.
Yep.
Both from the intensity too, but then there's a little breakout here.
Yep, here they come. They're going to try and extend their lead again.
So the big full forward rumbles through.
Dragus turns around. He kicks for goal. It's going to bounce, but it's going to bounce to the side.
So good shepherd from Taylor coming through. He gave Dragus that extra half second there for a snap.
8-5-53 the score. We mentioned the Roos, two-time national champions in Division I a long time ago. They were also Division II champions back in 2005 when they defeated Philadelphia. Los Angeles is actually an offshoot of the Orange County program. They were founded in 2010. They went right into Division II in 2011 and won the Division II championship. They actually had lost to Columbus in 2013, but gained some revenge by defeating them handily. 69-6, I believe, was the final score in 2014 in Mason, Ohio. So this is a team that really has, for the longest time, felt that they are Division I caliber, and they're showing it. But right now, they are being absolutely dismantled by this Golden Gate attack, and again, it's Brian Dragus to go back. Now, in case anyone's wondering about these games and scoring, in the regional series that we've seen, the most points that we've seen is 86 in Indianapolis defeating Cleveland in the Central Regionals. As Dragus's kick is on the way, it's drifting left.
And Brian, with regional tournaments, just to be clear too, they're really half-length games, right? Two
Like
20-minute halves, exactly.
Like this. So
just so people are aware, because a full game is 4 quarters of that kind of time.
Actually, I think New York had 89 in their game against Columbus. But again, that was New York was much the best over a depleted Columbus side. And there, mercifully, is the siren, and that'll do it. So LA had a little bit of fight in them early. They had a little bit of life in them in the beginning of the second half, but the Golden Gate Roos much the best as they finished by 39 points. The final scoreline, Golden Gate 8 goals, 6 behinds, 54 points. Los Angeles 2 goals, 3 behinds, 15 points. Not a whole lot you can say other than the Roos
looked like the team to beat.
Looked like the team to beat. And they'll have one more game against Denver while Los Angeles plays Orange County. That's the game that we'll have for you on CCTV. Be sure to keep a lookout for that game as well. Your final thoughts, Anthony? I think Brian Dragus was definitely one of the best players on the ground, and same thing with Zach Taylor.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a full forward, Zach Taylor did a great job. I also really enjoyed seeing George Bluey Smith out there. I thought he really held things together in the midfield. He was able to get a good opportunity moving forward for Dragus.
Awesome. So that's another game in the books. We'll hope to see you around for another one. For Anthony Lally and everyone who has brought to you today's game from Salem, once again, the final score, the Golden Gate Roos 54, the LA Dragons 15. Check us out on another game here on CCTV. This is Brian Barish. We'll see you again soon.
Support for tonight's program was provided by MAPS Credit Union, premier sponsor of Salem-Keizer Schools. Visit one of our convenient locations in the Willamette Valley or our website, mapscu.com. And by Les Schwab Tire Centers, doing the right thing since 1952. Experience the Les Schwab difference at your neighborhood Les Schwab Tire Center or visit us on the web at leschwab.com.